I'm Patrick Bailey with IQlist.com. Today is October 13th, 2019. And in this video, I'm going to go over a design I made to solve a problem in my garage and show you how I designed it in Fusion 360. First of all, I'm trying to solve a problem which is such a first world problem. My family and I, we bought a new house this year. We had it built, and I figured that as we had this new house built, we moved in. It's my first time owning a house myself. That we'd find little problems here and there, and that maybe we could find some of these problems that we could actually fix them with 3D printing. And we've done a video or two here or there on that, and I plan on doing some more videos on that because there's some problems we have solved, and this just happens to be one of them. But this is such a first world problem to solve. In this house, we have two garage ports, so two different garage door openers. And when they built this house, they actually, where they put the garage door openers, they put them next to each other, but they kind of flipped them on where they are located relative to the garage. And so that kind of threw my brain for a tizzy. And so, but also if I had a normal two-car garage, they might be next to each other. So just easy solution, swap them back. But in this case, you can see the schematic. My garage, one garage is going north-south basically, and one's going east-west. So they're different. So it's kind of created an interesting problem where I might be able to use some 3D printing to help me solve this. So my idea was get the schematic, use it in Fusion 360, and make an outline. And then print an outline raised, and then put that against the wall. And then put in the garage door openers in their respective locations. And then it's really easy to know where they are, kind of like a schematic. So you can exactly see where things are, and they just line up where they should. So I thought that was an interesting idea. So we did that. It's out in the garage now. So let me go out there, show you what I got, explain what we did, and then after that we'll come back and I'll redesign it, rebuild it in Fusion 360 and show you some of the techniques I use. Okay, so here is my done solution in the garage. And so you can see it matches the schematic, and I got it all drilled in here, and I got the garage door openers where they should be, so it makes my life simple. But some of the interesting techniques I had to do with this is, since it's such a big piece, I had to print it in two pieces, but I wanted to make sure it lined up real easily, and also I can install it easily. And so I don't know if I can do it really well here, and I'll show it as I build these out. I made a template. So you can see this little tiny piece by itself. That kind of wraps around there, and as I put this up, I got an extra piece right here. As I put this up, I could put this guide in there. And that guide would go in there, and this is an extra piece I have, which doesn't really have a little bit on it. But I printed out this guide, and I put the other piece right there, and it all lined up just fine, so I didn't have to fight with it, trying to line everything up after the fact. And then this is a sacrificial piece, pulled it off, and I had it all lined up like I wanted. So that's the result. Now let me go show you how I did it. Okay, now on to design work. So I'm using this as a test video because what I'd like to do in the near-term future is I'd like to kind of teach some classes on YouTube in a way, showing how to do a design from beginning to end, and also probably printing it out. And the idea would be like, let me do something in Fusion 360 or in OpenSCAD or even in Tinkercad, and come up with a design and show how the process of actually doing it, so that people might learn some techniques. I might learn some techniques. And then people could tweak it to their liking and then print it out and do it. And so with that in mind, it's kind of what I want to do with this video, although I don't see anyone else printing out this. So it's kind of a test for me to see how well I kind of like doing this format and how well other people might like this format. I think there's some things to learn, and some people might apply some of these techniques to doing something else, but I don't see a big need for people to print out garage door outlines, except for there's a need for me. So with that, let's get going. So here is the design that I did before, and I might reference back and forth on this, but we'll just kind of start raw. So over here, I'm in Fusion 360, and for those who may not know, Fusion 360 is available for free if you use it for non-for-profit or for teaching. So for homeschoolers, you can go download it, register it, and you can use it pretty much unhindered. It's kind of a full-featured suite, and you can do a lot of really cool designs in Fusion 360. Although it's not for younger kids, I'd probably recommend, depending on the kid's aptitude, anywhere from 13 to 14 on could probably handle this. It's more advanced design. There's a lot of really cool stuff you could do with it, but it might be really frustrating to, say a 5-year-old or a 6-year-old or something like Tinkercad might be a little more appropriate. With that, let me get going on this. So here, I got something raw, nothing's going on. Let me see if I can remember how to do this again. I always like to do this nearly every video I can do, because if you're doing 3D print designs, it's a pain in the neck to do your design and then have to reconfigure it afterwards. So the default Fusion 360 does not have the right axes set the right way to help you 3D print. So if I'm looking at this grid, in my mind I'm looking at this grid as if I'm looking at the bottom of my 3D printer. So the z-axis should be up. And you can see over here, I have it done correctly. Z-axis is up, x-axis is out. If I put something in here and turn to an STL file, it'll be oriented correctly. But that's not the default setting. So if you go up to here to, let's see, I think you go up here and click on your name, go to Preferences. Wish I had prepped this so I can remember. And then you can go to, let's see, it's been a little while. Okay, here I am in, it should be in General, yeah. And over here, we have default modeling orientation, Z up. It's typically, out of the box, is not Z up. So you want to set the Z up and hit OK or Apply. Let me make sure that I'm in General. Okay, so click on General, make sure Z axis is up. If not, change it and apply. That may require you to do a restart of Fusion 360, but it helps everything out to make your life a lot simpler so you don't have to reorient things when you're trying to slice it. So now, next thing you want to do to help make your life easier, every time you make a new object, you want to click on here and say New Component. So here, I'm going to have two components. Well, yeah, I probably have two components on this, just to make life simpler, and so you can edit it and not tweak the other one. So here I'll say, left garage. I'll say left garage, click on that, click on the little eyeball here, and now, boom, my orientation pops up. And now what I want to do is I want to right click on this plane. You can see I can click on different plane. Let me see, cancel. Click on that plane, that one, that one. But I'm going to right click on the bottom one and say create a sketch. So I'll create a sketch. And now I've kind of gotten the rough size that I need. So I'm going to put a rectangle on here as a guide. So I'll hit the S button, which will open up my sketching shortcuts. In which case, I've already set up some that I like. So I'm going to use this 2-point rectangle. If yours is not up there, you can search for it. So you just look up rectangle, and it would show up here. There's a 2-point rectangle, and you could choose it. Or if there's something that's not here, like I don't have a 3-point rectangle, I can hit this little squirrely up button. If I do that, it will add it to my shortcuts. Not something I want to use, but anyway. So I'll hit S. Hit S. Hit the 2-point rect. Well, let me see. I want to know. Do I care? Yeah, I'll do a 2-point. Do a 2-point. And I'll click on, it'll click on the center. So I'm kind of bound there. And then now you can see I can adjust it how I want. And you see the numbers change there. But if I already know my numbers, so in this case, I want to make it 500 by 300 as a guide. So I can type in 500, and it locks it in. You see that little lock symbol comes in. I hit Tab, which goes to the next one, hit 300, hit Enter, and now I'm done. So I get those precise numbers rather than just fiddling and going around. So, and then I'll hit Finish Sketch, and this is just meant as a guide. So now what I'm going to do is I have that picture. I want to take that picture and put it in here so that I can use it as a reference. So I'll go up here and click on Insert, Insert Canvas, or Decal. I think now, yeah, it's Canvas. Insert Canvas, and I'll say Select a Face, so I'll select this face, and I'll click on here to select an image, and I put this, well, I put it on my desktop, but it's also here. Click the picture, and then it'll pop on there. And then now I might have to resize it. So in this case, I'm going to grow it a little bit. So I can click on there to grow it. And I want it to be roughly the same size, width-wise. I can pull it around, hit OK, and now I can see it. So it's just a picture. It's not going to be 3D printed, but it's just kind of convenient there. So I can see it to help me guide myself around. And so now in this first case, I want to just get this first garage done. So up here and hit the S button. Oh, sorry. I want to draw on a plane. So I can go I can click on a rectangle again, right click and say edit sketch, which will bring me back and edit that one sketch if I want to. But the problem when I do this, now I lose my canvas. So I'll hit finish sketch and I'll go over here. I think I can just right click on here and create a new sketch. So now I'm creating a new sketch, ignoring the old one. And I'll come up here and I'll hit the S key and do a 2-point rectangle again. And so I'll kind of use this as a guideline. So I'll come up here, click close to that, and hit tab, because I want to do the top one first, and say 10 millimeters. And then I'll kind of go down here to the bottom, and I'll see that's roughly 156. And I'll just type in 156 so it's more precise, and call that good. So I'm going to make mine 10 millimeters wide. Now I'll hit the S key again, bring back my rectangle tool. And you can see how it kind of snaps in there. Boom, snap. Snaps in there, and I'll do this again. Type in 10 to lock that in, hit tab, go over here, and get close. And I see it's 144, maybe I'll do 145. Do 144. Lock it in, hit S again, bring that rectangle tool up. Come down here, 10, tab, and 63. Hit enter. And now here you can see I got 2 directions I can go. So I'll hit S. I'll get close to there. I'll tab 10, tab. And come over here and you'll see it'll. Well, see, there's the problem if I want to do this right. So I'm going to do it like this. I'm going to extend it because I don't intend to actually use this one. I'm going to delete it in a second. I'm just using those lines to kind of help me orient something. I hit S again, 2-point rectangle, and I'll click right there, and I'll say 10, and I'll go over here and it'll snap in right there. Snaps in, hit escape, and then I can come over here. I'll fix that in a second. Let me just get it all, the first part of the garage going. So I'll leave it in there. Hit S. Also, you'll see as I go over some of these tools, you'll see, you might see a letter, like there's a capital R. So I could use that as a quick tool if I wanted to. So if I didn't want to come back here, I could say capital R. Escape. Say R. There we go. Just, okay, not capital R, just R. If you use it a lot. And I'll say tab 10, 90, enter. There we go. Come over here, R again, which is just a shortcut. 10. And I'll say 18. Boom. And I'll go around and do that for the rest of this, even this center part. But I do want this part lined up correctly. So I'll say R, come over here, and I'll say 10. And I'll roughly get over here, and I'll just leave it a little short. 113. Just to help, just as a guideline. 10, 16, 10, 24. Boom. And see, I did the same thing here, so I can, I did before. So I can come here. There's a couple different ways to do this, but I'm just choosing this way. I know I'm going to erase this, so I'll say 10, I'll make it too long, click the R button again, come here, boom, that's the one I intend to use. Then I will 10, go down here, 156, enter. Now this one I probably want to, I'll go too long again because I want it to line up over here, right? So I'll click on that, come down, do 10, and click in there, good. Okay, so now I got most of the outline, and so now let me keep going next step here. Okay, now, because it's kind of fun to do, I want to put in some steps. So let me click off here, click R. Because I'm 3D printing, I can create steps that actually are 3-dimensional. So I'm over here. You gotta click in there. There you go. Boom. And even though I'm further down, I'll just come out here and I'll say 6 by 23. And I'll make a couple of steps. Boom. And those will be my steps. And so now I kind of got my guidelines. I kind of have everything set up the way I want to in this. So now I'm going to go delete some lines. And there's a couple ways to delete lines. I was kind of using these as, depends on what your needs are. This is kind of a simple design. So I can come over here and let's say I really needed this, but I don't want to affect my design. Because right now you can see I can choose different areas. And it is affecting my overall design. So I could, like if I want to keep this big rectangle, I can go here and click on one and these tools show up and I can make it a construction line. If I make it a construction line, you'll see that it oh, well, sorry, that's in a different sketch. Ugh. Okay, different ways, because that was in my first sketch, so I can go here, I can go down here, open up the sketches, click off this, and now I no longer see that sketch. That's another way to remove that from my brain now. But if I needed that line, right now that line affects it, so you can see I can choose that, choose that, choose that. It affects it if I want to choose inside, which I want to do for 3D printing. So if I wanted to leave that there for some reason, I could click construction line and click construction line on this. And now you see that choice went away because now those are no longer valid lines. You can see them and you can connect to them, but they're not going to affect the overall design as you try to extrude things or things like that. Now in my case, I actually don't want them. So there's another tool I can use called trim. So I can come up here and hit, you can go up here to modify and choose the trim tool, or you can see there's a T. So I can choose T too. I can click the T button and it'll logically try to trim things where it can see where there's a line cutting across. So I can click on these, and now I can go down here, and I can see I can trim right here. Oh, I wanted it to, well, that's okay. Trim right there, trim right there, trim right there. Oh, look, I made a mistake. I didn't crop something up there. So I hit escape. I'll hit R for rectangle. Click right there. Oh, now you can see I'm in this mode now where I don't want to be in that mode. Click R, and where are we? Well, fix that in a second. Okay, construction line. Let me select off that because I don't want this to be a construction line. Click that. We'll make it 10 and 22. Boom. Now let's clean this up. Hit T for trim. I don't want that, and I don't want that. And there's a second one behind there. I want to get them all connected as one piece. So I'll come out here, trim, 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 trim. Come down here, trim, 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 trim. Oh, I didn't want to trim that one, did I? Control R to undo. There we go. Trim those guys off. There we go. Trim that one off, that one, that one, that one. Okay, that's just a guideline there, so that doesn't count. There, 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 there. Get this all cleaned up. I do want to keep these stairs separate because I want to extrude them at different heights. So I'll leave those separate. And I think that might do me. So I hit the escape key to get out of that tool. And now if I choose here, oh, I missed one right there. T again, trim, escape. So hopefully that chooses, well, missed another one, missed that one. T again, trim, escape. There we go. Now that chooses my whole outline, which would work wonderfully if I had a bigger printer. So if I had a bigger printer, I would click on that, shift, click on that, and extrude it and be done. But I don't have that. So I need to split this up. So what I need to do is reintroduce a line somewhere along here. So I will, in this case, it doesn't really matter. It can be a little arbitrary. So I'll hit L, click there, click there. So now I got a split. So now I can logically print these out into two or even 3 pieces once I extrude them. But also I need another thing. I need this guide. And so I'll put this guide around, and what I'll do is I'll use I'm going a little too quickly here. There's a line tool. So I can click on S, and there's a line tool right there. But you use it so much, you might as well remember it's L for line tool. So L for line tool, and I'll come out straight, and I'll go up a little bit. Let me see what I do here. There we go. I'll go further than I need to go, right there. And it'll want to keep doing lines, but I can hit escape to stop that. Hit L again, go from here to here, and then I will go down here just a little bit, go up here, and then boom. So now I got this third piece that I can use as a guide. So that's equivalent to what I have here. So now I can extrude 1, 2, 3, and there's this fourth piece here, this little piece, which I can extrude with this because I found out those two will fit just fine on the same guide. But now I got one more problem. Well, let's solve that in a second here. So let's extrude things. So I'll come up here, click on that, and I can kind of use, I intend this one to be for the left garage for this object. So I'll only extrude the left stuff. So I'll click on that, click Q. I like to click on the home screen here because it kind of reorients things, and I can pull it up. Now in this case, I'm going to pull it up, let's see, 8 millimeters. Seems like a good thing. New body, hit OK. And then I'll come on here and I'll click here and here. And I want to extrude a little bit more, but I want to do it at an angle. It's just kind of the design I want. And if I try to extrude here more, it'll actually just continue to go straight. It'll just add on. So what I have to do is right click on here and do something. Let's see. Click on here and create a sketch. Create a new sketch. Boom. So we're a new thing. Click on there. Click on there. Press Q again. Q is the press pull tool. And I'll select, well, let me do one at a time. Let me just select this one, press Q. And I will go up just 1 millimeter, maybe 2. But I want to taper it, so I'll say -45. And you can see that tapers it in. That's one method. And I can say join, so I'll say join. So now I've got this look that I want. Click on that one, press Q. Q. Oh, see here's the problem. See, that's if I press Q right now, it just wants to extend that. That's not what I want to do. So I come down here, right click, create another sketch, I guess. That'll work. Click on there, press Q. Go up 2 millimeters and say -45. Boom. I got my look that I want. And so I want to leave that all left garage. And now I want to make the right garage. So I'll click on here and say new component. So I'll say new component. I'll call it right garage. Shows up here. I'll click on here. I like to always make the origin. It's just something I like to do. But now I can choose to see the old other components. In this case, I actually want to see the old sketch. I want to see this second sketch because I'm going to use it. So I'll come over here and I can actually select from this sketch even though it's on the other one. So I'll select this sketch, hit Q, pull it up, let's see, with 8 millimeters, hit OK. Click the top on here, create a new sketch, hit Q for the press pull tool, and go up 2 and -45. Boom. And now I got my second piece. Okay, lastly, I just need my alignment piece. So I'll right click on here, make a new component again. I'll just call it alignment. Hit OK, and then I will, again, I can still see the sketch from the left garage. And I'll come in here, click on here, press Q for the press pull tool. And since this is just being used to align, I don't need to make it very tall. So I'll just say 2 millimeters, hit new body, hit OK. And now I got all 3 pieces I need. So now I'll right click on left garage, say save as STL, hit OK. And I'll save it to my desktop, hit save, and replace the one that I had there before. I'll right click on right garage, save as STL, hit OK, and hit save, yes. And the same thing with the alignment tool. Save STL, hit OK, save, boom, there you go. And so now we should have all those files. Now we get all those files, let me just open it up in a slicer and see how they look. So here I'll open up Prusa Slicer, which now I'm kind of sold on Prusa Slicer. I still think there should be some more simpler interfaces, but they're getting there. They're getting there, compared to Prusa Control. Okay, so I'll take this left garage, boom, pop it in there, and you can see I'm getting exactly the look and feel I want. And if I'll take this alignment one, which I normally would print separately, but you can see, oh, I forgot to do the stairs. Oops, let me go back. Oops, so I messed up this piece. Let me go fix this. I didn't add the stairs. Let's go do that. Let's go back to the left garage. So I'll click on here to activate the left garage. And I'll click on that to stop viewing those two. And see, I got these 2 stairs. And since I can make them stairs, I'll click that one. I'll say Q and I'll say 6 millimeters. Boom. Press on this one, press Q and say 4 millimeters. There we go. And so now I have actual little stairs, which is kind of cool. So I'll right click on that, say save as STL. Save it to my desktop. Replace the old one. Now let me bring up the Prusa Slicer again, and I will drop it in. And now we can see the stairs. I'll drop the alignment tool just to show you how it aligns. And so you can see that if I print that out, now it is tight. You might want to actually, depending on if you're using some kind of alignment tool, you might actually want to make it slightly smaller. But in this case, I got it to work. I had to shave it a little bit with my tools, but it worked just fine. If I was doing something more complex, I might have shrunk a little bit. You can see that works. And so I'm not going to go through the exercise of slicing it, but you can see there's the one design. And I will drop the right garage in. There's the right garage. In fact, I could probably drop, it won't fit, but I can drop the left garage, right garage, and you can see the alignment's going to work just fine. So once I get these out, you'll see that kind of roughly will go there. I'll drop the alignment tool out in the garage, and then boom. Totally skipped one step. This would work just fine if you didn't actually need to drill it in. So I need to make some little notches to drill it in. So let me back up and do that to be a little complete. So I'll go back to the first sketch. I'll orient it like that. And I'll figure out what I want to do. So I will make a new sketch. I'll right click here on my plane and say create a sketch. It's going to make a new one. And I'll come down here and I'll make I measured it before, but I might be a little off. So I'll come down here and choose a circle for where I'm going to screw things in. And I think I did it, what did I do it before, 5? Let me go look at my other one. What did I do? It's been a while. Let's do a comparison real quick. Or I can just choose there's a D tool for measuring. Yep, 5. 5, I did 5. That'll work. So I come over here, do 5, kind of get it to a location that makes a little bit of sense to me. Don't want it to be too big. And I'll make choose Esh, and I'll choose a 3-point arc. choose right there, kind of arc around it, hit escape, and I'll move this to center, hit L, do something like that, and then I can use that to extrude. So there's a couple, it depends on what you want to do with this. So I can on the sketch, I can say, I can hit S and I can choose move or copy. So I can choose move or copy, and then I need to select what I want to copy. Select that, select that, select that, select that, and say create a copy. And then I can start to move my copy. So I'll move that up there to right there. Hit OK, and now I've got a copy of that. And I can do the same thing again. I'll say copy, select those attributes. I'll say create a copy, and I'll bring this one over here, and I'll do a 360 on it. And then I'll move it right there. I don't need to align this too well because it'll get covered up when I extend it, so I want to make sure it's inside the drawing there. Hit OK. And you just repeat the same thing and you go around all the pieces and put them where you want to. Then I come over here and use my press pull tool. Oh, it's not seeing the, let me hit to new sketch. Let me hit the L key so I can close this. Otherwise it's going to be a little hard to do a press pull. That one's okay because it's got a line, but okay, we're good now. So now I'll select that, hit the shift key and select that. There, press Q for the press pull tool and just say 4 millimeters. Boom. And you didn't like that. Okay. Why do you not like that? Come here, press that. Shift, select that one. Shift, select that one. Press Q for the press pull. Because we're cutting. Okay, so by default, if it thinks you're going through something, it will try to cut it. So instead I'll say join, and I'll say 4 millimeters, hit OK, and now I've got my little points. So I won't go through the exercise of doing every single one, but you can see how you can do that. So now I'll save as an STL, hit OK. Go back into my slicer, delete that one, and then add the left garage back in. And you can see how it all should, in theory, line up just nice. And I've got those little points where I can drill into the drywall. And there you go. And then I would, of course, I'd do this as multiple prints. I mean, I could probably get with 2 prints, do something like that, and then print it out and stick it on my wall. So there you have it. So that's how I got that all done. Pretty simple. And hopefully, my plan is to hopefully do some more videos like this that are a little more practical that you could actually use. But hopefully, I can learn some techniques. I can show some techniques and give some people some ideas on how to do some designs. Not only in Fusion 360, but hopefully some OpenSCAD and even some Tinkercad. So hope that was helpful. Hope that was helpful to someone out there. And it's kind of fun to do. I'm glad I did it. Hey. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, hey, give it a thumbs down. Also, if you like what we're doing here, subscribe to the channel by clicking the subscribe button. And lastly, have a piece of info to share? Just post a comment.